We are down the street from Rihanna's house here in Beverly Crest, just north of Beverly Hills. You can see an officer stationed here, yellow tape closing the street off to through traffic. LAPD tells us they arrested a person earlier today for firing multiple shots at the house.
This wasn't supposed to happen. Not here. Not to someone like Rihanna. Late at night, inside a heavily secured mansion, everything felt calm, controlled, and completely safe. And then, in a single moment, that illusion shattered. Loud cracks ripped through the silence. Not fireworks, not construction, gunshots. Multiple shots fired toward the property. And the most chilling part was simple and terrifying at the same time. Rihanna was inside. For a brief second, everything froze. The kind of silence that follows sudden chaos is often louder than the event itself. No one moved immediately, because no one could fully process what had just happened. Then instinct took over. Security teams rushed into action, scanning every corner, checking every feed, trying to locate the source before things escalated further. But deep down, there was already a realization forming.
Now, this is Rihanna and ASAP Rocky's home, and you can see there on that white gate, white tape, it is covering up 5 bullet holes, and this was just some of the gunfire that was heard here Sunday afternoon.
This was not random. The pattern of the shots raised immediate concern. They were not scattered or accidental. They appeared directed, controlled, intentional. That alone changed the entire situation from a random scare into something far more serious. Because random noise does not follow patterns. Random acts do not aim with purpose. Inside the mansion, the atmosphere shifted completely. A place designed for comfort suddenly felt exposed. The walls that once represented privacy now felt thin, vulnerable, and uncertain. Even with advanced surveillance systems and trained security personnel, one fact could not be ignored. Someone had come close enough to fire multiple shots. That alone meant a boundary had been crossed. Neighbors later described the night as confusing and unsettling. Some initially dismissed the sounds as distant activity, something ordinary. But as the shots continued, the realization set in quickly. This was different. This was dangerous. Within minutes, lights turned on, people looked outside, and the quiet neighborhood transformed into a tense and alert environment. Emergency responses followed soon after. But the real questions had already begun forming. How did this happen? How did someone manage to get close enough to a high-profile residence with heavy security presence? And perhaps more importantly, why? Because in situations involving global figures, nothing is ever just surface level. Every detail matters. Every movement has meaning. Rihanna is not just a celebrity. She represents influence, visibility, and constant public attention. That level of exposure comes with both admiration and risk. Security experts often emphasize that breaches like this are rarely accidental. They require awareness, timing, and a level of planning. That is what makes this situation feel different. It does not fit the pattern of random incidents. It feels calculated. And that leads to the question that continues to grow stronger. Was this a message? Because when something is targeted but not followed through completely, it creates a specific kind of tension. It suggests intention without completion. It sends a signal without revealing the full purpose. And that is often more unsettling than the act itself. Investigators are now working through layers of information. Surveillance footage, nearby activity, vehicle movement. Everything is being examined in detail. Each frame, each second could hold a clue. But investigations like this are rarely simple.
This morning, a suspect is behind bars after allegedly shooting towards the home of pop superstar and billionaire businesswoman Rihanna.
10 gunshots fired from the vehicle at the gate.
The more data you gather, the more complex the picture becomes. What adds to the mystery is the lack of immediate clarity. No confirmed suspects. No clear motive. Just an event that happened and a silence that followed. And in that silence, speculation begins to grow. Fans across the world reacted instantly. Social media filled with concern, confusion, and theories. People are trying to understand what really happened, not just what was reported. Because something about this situation does not feel complete. It feels like a piece of a larger story. And maybe that is exactly what it is. A moment that reveals something deeper beneath the surface. Rihanna herself has not made a detailed public statement. That silence, intentional or not, adds another layer to the situation. Public figures often choose their words carefully, especially when safety is involved. Speaking too soon can reveal too much. Saying too little creates curiosity. And right now, curiosity is everywhere. Inside her circle, security measures are likely being reviewed and reinforced. Protocols adjusted. Access points reevaluated. Because once something like this happens, the focus shifts from reaction to prevention. It becomes about ensuring that it never happens again. But the truth is, no system is perfect. No security setup is completely untouchable. And when someone manages to get close enough to create fear, it changes how everything is viewed moving forward. This incident also highlights a larger issue that often goes unnoticed. The reality of constant exposure. Being seen, followed, tracked, and discussed at all times. For global figures, privacy is already limited. Safety becomes a continuous effort rather than a guarantee. And moments like this remind everyone watching that behind the fame, there is vulnerability. Behind the success, there is risk. And behind the image of control, there are situations that cannot always be predicted. As the investigation continues, more details are expected to surface. Each update will either clarify the situation or deepen the mystery. But until then, the questions remain. Was this truly random, or was it planned? Was it meant to cause harm, or simply to send a signal? And most importantly, was Rihanna the intended target, or just part of a larger plan? Because the answers to these questions will define how this incident is understood, not just as an isolated moment, but as something that fits into a bigger picture.
Bags packed, her team surrounding her. Rihanna made her escape from Beverly Hills just hours after this woman allegedly shot up her home with an AR-15 style weapon.
People often assume that high-profile individuals live in a completely secure world, protected, controlled, untouchable. But events like this challenge that assumption. They reveal cracks in the system, moments where control slips, even if only for a second. And sometimes that second is enough to change everything. The night itself may have ended, but the impact did not. It continues in conversations, in investigations, and in the minds of those who are trying to understand what really happened. Because the truth is, incidents like this do not just disappear. They leave behind questions. They create doubt, and they demand answers. And right now, those answers are still missing. But one thing feels increasingly clear. This did not feel random. It felt intentional. It felt directed. And if that is true, then this was not just an event. It was a message. The only problem is no one knows exactly what that message was meant to say. But the real truth still hasn't come out, and maybe it never will. Because sometimes what we see is only half the story. And if this really was a message, then the question is, who was it meant for? So what do you think? Was this random or something much bigger? If you found this video interesting, make sure to like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments, because the next detail might change everything. Fire.